Listen closely, Chosen One. The ground beneath you has been trembling, not in destruction, but in divine disruption. What you are feeling right now is not chaos. It is correction. The shaking in your life is heaven's signal that something greater is trying to make room. You've noticed it, people drifting away without explanation, opportunities falling through situations that once felt solid, now cracking open. Your spirit has been restless, sensing a shift you can't quite describe. You've prayed for expansion, for breakthrough, for doors to open. But before expansion comes, God clears space. This is that space-clearing season. It's uncomfortable, even frightening, because everything familiar feels uncertain. But the Spirit of the Lord is whispering, "Do not fear the shaking, I am making room." Every structure that was built on old foundations must be tested. Every attachment not aligned with your next must be shaken loose. This is not punishment. It's preparation. The same hands that allowed the storm are the hands positioning you for what's coming. You're being moved from comfort into calling, from the predictable into the prophetic. The shaking is not a sign of loss, it's a sign of movement. Like the earth before the new birth, it quakes before it yields life. Like the heavens before rain, the clouds must first collide before release. You may not recognize it yet, but God is rearranging your atmosphere. He's shifting people, places, and priorities. He's breaking what limited you so He can build what will carry you. And though your mind calls it instability, your spirit knows its invitation. Stay still in the center of the storm. Do not cling to what is falling. Reach for what is forming. Heaven is clearing clutter, both physical and spiritual, to make room for divine order. What feels like endings are actually beginnings, wearing unfamiliar faces. You're not losing ground. You're gaining space. And soon you'll see that everything that fell away was never meant to stay for where you're going. So breathe. Let the shaking happen. Let God move what He must. Because when He shakes a life, it's not to destroy it, it's to rebuild it, stronger, wider, and freer than before. This is your holy earthquake, the sign that heaven is making room for you to rise. And in that trembling silence between what's leaving and what's coming, the Spirit begins to speak. You may not hear thunder or see lightning, but you'll sense it, that still, firm voice within that says, "I am in this." The wind that bends the trees is not meant to break them. It strengthens their roots. So too this season is not designed to destroy you, but to deepen you. The Lord is stretching the soil of your life, preparing it to hold the weight of what He's about to pour in. There are divine rearrangements taking place, beyond what the eyes can see. Heaven is orchestrating encounters, endings, and beginnings all at once. What looks like separation in the natural is connection in the spirit. Every detour, every delay, every shaking has been measured and permitted by the One who governs time itself. You've cried out for more purpose, more clarity, more presence. But before more can come, something must be released. God is not ignoring your prayers. He's answering them in a language that requires faith to understand. He's speaking in movements, not words. This is not the silence of absence. It's the silence of precision. Heaven is aligning the unseen pieces, setting the stage for divine order. Just as a builder clears the land before laying a foundation, God is removing the debris of the past to prepare a place for your promise to stand. If you could see the blueprint, you'd realize nothing is random. The things that fell apart were never meant to bear the weight of your destiny. The doors that closed were too small to contain the glory assigned to your name. The people who left were not abandoning you. They were being reassigned by divine timing. Listen carefully. When the potter reshapes clay, the wheel must spin. The faster it spins, the more balanced the vessel becomes in His hands. That spinning, that dizzying uncertainty you've been feeling is the shaping process. You are not being lost in motion. You are being centered for purpose. Heaven whispers again, "Fear not the shaking, for my hands are steady. What I have begun, I will complete." You are not adrift, you are in alignment. Every tremor has intention. Every silence hides strategy. Even the things that seem to crumble are making space for what has been promised. The same ground that quakes beneath you will soon become the ground that supports your blessing. So rest your spirit. You are in divine hands. Let the storm swirl, let the dust rise. In the midst of it, God is building something eternal. And when the shaking stops, you will see that what remains was always meant to last. Because what heaven establishes, no force on earth can uproot. And what God is preparing in secret will soon be revealed in glory. What is happening around you is not collapse, it is calibration. The world may call it instability, but heaven calls it alignment. The Spirit says, "I am shaking the things that can be shaken, so that what cannot be shaken will remain." This is the hour where divine hands are rearranging the landscape of your life. The walls that confined you are coming down not to expose you, but to expand you. The structures that once made sense are being dismantled because they cannot contain the weight of what's next. You asked for overflow, but overflow requires vessels that can hold it. The shaking is heaven enlarging your capacity. God is not taking things from you. He is making room within you. In this sacred upheaval, something ancient and holy is being stirred. The old systems of survival, the patterns of fear and scarcity are cracking open. You are stepping into a realm where provision meets purpose, where peace is no longer seasonal, where clarity replaces confusion. The dust rising around you is the ground making way for a new foundation. There's a rhythm to divine reconstruction. First the tearing, then the turning, then the building. You're in the space between the sacred in-between, where what was no longer fits and what will be hasn't fully formed. But in this space, heaven is writing new instructions. You will see relationships shift, doors realign, and even your desires change. That's not confusion, that's transformation. What once felt comfortable now feels too small because your spirit has outgrown it. And in this expansion, God is saying, "I am making room for the new oil." New oil requires empty vessels. The shaking empties you not of purpose, but of clutter. The oil of wisdom, discernment, favor, and supernatural grace is about to be poured. But it cannot mingle with the residue of what's expired. Do not mourn what is leaving. Mourn only if you cling to it. For every connection removed, there is divine replacement. For every opportunity that slipped away, a greater one is already forming beyond your sight. The prophecy unfolding over your life carries this decree: I will fill the empty places. I will occupy the space the shaking creates. You will soon realize that the loss you feared was simply the vacuum into which God would breathe new life. The tears that fell in confusion are watering the soil of your next harvest. You've been praying for acceleration, and heaven heard you. But acceleration requires clearing the runway. You cannot take flight surrounded by unnecessary weight. So God, in His mercy, has been shaking loose what cannot ascend with you. In this next phase, your perspective will shift. You'll stop asking, "Why did this fall apart?" and start declaring, "It fell apart so I could rise." You'll see divine fingerprints on every closed door, every sudden ending, every unexpected pause. Because what's being born is not a mere blessing, it's a new blueprint. You're entering a realm of spiritual authority where you'll no longer chase what you once lost. What belongs to you will find you because the atmosphere itself is being shaped to recognize your name. The earth is groaning, yes, but not in despair. It groans for the revealing of those prepared by the shaking. And that's you. You are the vessel being refined in the tremors. So let it quake. Let what's weak collapse. Let what's unsteady fall away. For when the dust settles, what stands will be unshakable, unbreakable, and undeniably marked by divine design. This is not the end of your story. It's the unveiling of your prophecy. Heaven is making room for something you haven't yet imagined. And when it comes, it won't fit neatly into the patterns of your past. It will overflow, redefine, and elevate everything about you. You will look back on this shaking not as loss, but as liberation, the moment heaven interrupted your comfort to deliver your calling. The shaking you are experiencing is not random. It carries intention, purpose, and divine intelligence. Heaven never moves without reason, and the tremors in your life are a sacred signal. Something must give way before something greater can rise. Every rattle, every crack, every sudden shift is a spiritual punctuation, a message written in the language of movement and change. Think of it as a storm at sea. The waves are not attacking you, they are guiding you. They push the vessel toward open waters where the horizon widens, where the light of the dawn meets the eyes of the faithful. The shaking is the hand of God steering, correcting, redirecting. What feels like turbulence is actually navigation. In spiritual terms, these moments reveal what is anchored in faith and what is anchored in fear. The storms strip away superficial attachments, exposing the foundations beneath. Those foundations built on comfort, approval, or the expectations of others begin to crumble. While the foundations built on God's promises, prayer, and obedience become unshakable. Every season of shaking carries a sacred metaphor. Doors fall away that cannot contain your blessing. Seasons of silence break open the pathways to new revelation. The removal of people or situations exposes spaces for divine alignment. Each displacement is a divine cue to release, to trust, to lean not on your understanding but on His. Divine timing is at work. Nothing happens too early or too late in God's plan. The shaking you feel now may seem inconvenient, even cruel in the eyes of the natural, but in the eternal, it is precision. It is a measured clearing, a spiritual pruning to create abundance. God prunes not to punish, but to produce fruit. The branches that remain after pruning bear the richest harvest. Consider the symbolism of the refining fire. Gold cannot shine until it has been tested in heat. Your circumstances may feel heated, intense, even overwhelming. Yet it is this very pressure that removes impurities, strengthens character, and prepares you to reflect divine glory. You are being refined, not rejected. You are being prepared, not punished. Light, too, carries meaning in this season. The areas of your life that have been hidden in darkness, neglected, or unnoticed are now being illuminated by God's perspective. The shaking exposes them so they can be healed, restored, and aligned with His purpose. What appears as destruction is often divine revelation in disguise. The spiritual depth of this message is found in understanding cycles. Every ending is a beginning. Every collapse is a calibration. Every tremor carries potential. Seasons of waiting, discomfort, or confusion are not wasted moments. They are incubators of destiny. The shaking reveals your readiness to step into realms previously unreachable, to carry blessings too vast for the old containers of your life. Faith is your anchor in these moments. While the earth trembles, the Spirit calls you to remain steadfast, not because the world has ceased its motion, but because your place in heaven's plan is unmovable. Your obedience, patience, and trust amplify your capacity to receive what the shaking is preparing for you. Destiny, then, is intertwined with this divine turbulence. The shaking is a sacred teacher instructing patience, resilience, and perspective. It reminds you that God's kingdom operates on a timetable far beyond human comprehension. What feels like chaos in your eyes is symmetry in His. What feels like delay is alignment in His. What feels like loss is preparation for unimaginable gain. Doors are falling to reveal new corridors. Storms are roaring to awaken hidden strength. Shifts are occurring to widen your path. This is the deeper meaning of the shaking, a sacred invitation to release, to trust, and to walk into the fullness of your calling. Take heart. This spiritual depth is not abstract, it is intensely personal. The shaking you feel is tailored for you, shaped for your purpose, orchestrated for your rise. The same hand that allows the storm is the hand that guides you through it. You are not adrift, you are exactly where you need to be. The Spirit whispers, embrace the tremors. They are the brushstrokes of your destiny. What falls is not lost. What shakes is not forsaken. You are being made ready for the life I have prepared for you, a life that stretches beyond what you can yet imagine. And so, in the midst of uncertainty and the tremors of transition, the deeper truth is clear. The shaking is sacred, the timing is divine, and your path forward is being illuminated by God's eternal hand. Even now, you may have noticed small, subtle shifts, quiet signs that heaven is at work. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that the shaking is intentional, that the clearing is sacred, and that God's hand is guiding your path. First, you may feel an inner restlessness, a gentle yet persistent nudging of your spirit. It is not discomfort without purpose. It is the whisper of God saying, "Pay attention. I am moving you into alignment." This restlessness pushes you toward prayer, reflection, and choices that elevate your life. It is your spiritual compass recalibrating. Second, relationships may change suddenly. Some connections fade while others appear unexpectedly. People who once brought limitation or distraction may step back, while new allies, mentors, and friends aligned with your calling begin to surface. These shifts are confirmations that the atmosphere around you is being purified, making room for divine connections. Third, doors that once seemed permanently closed now feel easier to open. Opportunities that were delayed or blocked suddenly show signs of movement. Perhaps a job project or creative venture begins to align perfectly with your abilities. This is a divine signal that the shaking is preparing fertile ground for your breakthrough. Fourth, you might notice recurring symbols or messages in everyday life, numbers, phrases, or visions that resonate deeply with your spirit. These are heaven's markers, subtle indicators that you are walking in step with divine timing. Pay attention to repeated signs. They are confirmations written for your eyes alone. Fifth, unexpected provision may arrive. Resources, ideas, or support that seemed impossible may manifest. Perhaps finances shift, guidance comes, or doors open in the ways that defy human reasoning. These are divine reassurances, tangible evidence that God is making room for what you are about to receive. Sixth, you may feel a deepening of intuition, a heightened clarity in decisions. What once confused you now seems obvious. What once caused hesitation now feels aligned. Your spiritual senses are being awakened, confirming that the shaking is refining not just your circumstances, but your discernment. All these signs point to one truth: you are in a sacred season of preparation. The shaking, though challenging, is purposeful. The rearrangements, though unsettling, are intentional. Each sign, each subtle confirmation is God saying, "I am with you. I am guiding you. Trust me." Do not overlook these confirmations. They are the breadcrumbs along your path, guiding you to the place God has prepared. They are quiet victories in the midst of upheaval. Small glimpses of divine orchestration that assure your spirit you are not alone. You are not forgotten, and your next chapter is being written even now. Recognize these signs. Acknowledge them. Let them strengthen your faith. They are proof that the shaking is not a threat. It is a herald. A herald that the life, blessing, and destiny prepared for you is near ready to emerge once the space has been cleared and your vessel has been made ready. As the shaking continues, it is natural to feel uncertainty. You may notice that even as doors open and signs appear, there are moments of resistance, delays, or inner tension. These are the hidden challenges, the spiritual obstacles that precede every great breakthrough. First, you may encounter doubt. Even with confirmations and signs, your mind may question the process. Why is this taking so long? Did I misunderstand? Am I truly ready? This doubt is not a flaw. It is a test of trust. Heaven allows it to refine your faith, to separate reliance on circumstance from reliance on God. Second, opposition may appear. People, situations, or internal fears might try to pull you back into old patterns. These challenges are not punishments. They are revealing obstacles, markers that define the boundaries of what is truly aligned with your calling. They are the spiritual strength tests that ensure what survives is worthy of divine blessing. Third, patience will be required. The shaking often brings impatience because you sense the promise, but cannot yet see its full manifestation. It is a season where timing, not speed, dictates outcomes. The hidden challenge is to resist rushing to walk steadily, even when the reward is invisible. Every day of patience strengthens your readiness to receive what is coming. Fourth, discomfort may arise in unexpected areas. Financial pressures, relationship tensions, or emotional fatigue can surface. These are not signs of failure. They are symptoms of transformation. Heaven often stirs discomfort to awaken resilience, to awaken creativity, and to deepen spiritual endurance. Fifth, discernment will be necessary. Not every opportunity that appears is for you. Not every voice or counsel aligns with your divine path. Hidden challenges often come disguised as blessings. The Spirit calls you to discern, to separate the temporary from the eternal, and to remain focused on the promises that align with your destiny. Finally, you may feel moments of isolation. As the world shakes around you, it is natural to feel alone. But this is precisely the space where intimacy with God deepens. Solitude becomes your laboratory for faith, a sacred place where you discover that your source is eternal, not circumstantial. Remember, these challenges are temporary, purposeful, and preparatory. They are the refining fires that ensure only the strongest, most faithful, and most aligned vessels receive the fullness of blessing. They are not signs of rejection. They are steps in divine formation. Take heart. Your endurance is being cultivated. Your spirit is being strengthened. Every challenge you face in this hidden season is evidence that you are being prepared for what cannot be shaken. What seems difficult now is shaping your capacity to receive, steward, and walk in the next chapter with authority, clarity, and peace. The Spirit whispers, "Do not be discouraged. These are not walls but gates. Do not fear the test, for it is proof that you are on the path I have designed." Stand firm, trust the process, and know that every hidden challenge is an invitation to rise. Now is the time to act with intention, even amidst the shaking. God is moving, and He is inviting you to partner with Him. The instructions are simple, yet profound, rooted in obedience, clarity, and spiritual alignment. First, guard your heart. Protect your thoughts, your emotions, and your focus. The shaking can provoke fear, anxiety, and distraction. Yet when you anchor yourself in prayer, scripture, or spiritual reflection, your mind becomes a fortress. Each thought aligned with faith is a brick in the foundation of your breakthrough. Let go of negative thinking, for it is a weight that cannot travel with you into the next season. Second, embrace surrender. There are areas you cannot control, moments you cannot force. Surrender is not defeat, it is trust. Release what you cannot direct and allow God's wisdom to guide the movement. This sacred yielding is the space where divine strategy unfolds. It is the recognition that heaven's timing surpasses human timing, and that the orchestration of your destiny is precise. Third, prepare your environment. As God clears space in your life, clear the physical, mental, and spiritual clutter around you. Let go of possessions, habits, or commitments that no longer serve your growth. Organize your space in a way that welcomes abundance, creativity, and divine favor. A cleared room reflects a cleared spirit ready for what is to come. Fourth, strengthen your spirit through discipline. Commit to regular reflection, meditation, or prayer. Align your actions with the values, principles, and intentions that God has placed within you. Spiritual discipline is not a burden, it is empowerment. It trains your heart to remain steadfast even when circumstances seem unstable. Fifth, engage in community wisely. Surround yourself with those who uplift, encourage, and mirror the divine purpose within you. Seek mentors, allies, or spiritual companions who can provide insight, accountability, and support. God often moves through relationships to deliver wisdom and confirmation, so choose connections that align with your calling. Sixth, act boldly where God leads. The shaking does not mean passivity. Step into opportunities aligned with your calling, even if uncertainty accompanies them. Bold action rooted in prayer and discernment accelerates alignment and opens doors that hesitation would delay. Remember, courage is not the absence of fear, but obedience despite it. Seventh, speak life over yourself and your circumstances. Words carry power. Declare faith-filled statements, affirmations, and prophetic decrees. Speak over your environment. I am ready. I am aligned. I am prepared for what God is making room for in my life. These declarations shift energy, fortify your spirit, and invite heaven into every space you occupy. Eighth, remain vigilant against distractions. The shaking may bring temptations to settle for less, to revert to old patterns, or to chase what is convenient rather than what is divine. Discerning what is of God versus what is of comfort or fear is essential. Ask for clarity and be patient with the process. Finally, rejoice in the journey. Even in the shaking, celebrate small victories. Give gratitude for lessons, for endurance, for every confirmation along the way. Joy is a spiritual amplifier. It opens your heart to receive more, strengthens resilience, and magnifies the clarity of divine guidance. The Spirit whispers, "These steps are not burdens. They are your pathway. Walk them with urgency, with faith, and with courage." The space I am creating for you requires preparation. Your obedience today shapes your blessing tomorrow. This is your sacred responsibility, not a task of fear, but a call to empowerment. Each action, each moment of faith, each choice aligned with heaven positions you to step into what God has been shaking your life to reveal. Follow these instructions faithfully. Engage in the work of alignment. Trust that every measure of effort, every seed of obedience is multiplying unseen. And when the shaking ceases, you will stand ready, equipped, and fully prepared to inhabit the fullness of the life God has been making room for you to claim. Even as the ground shakes beneath you and the storms of life swirl around, take heart, you are protected. Not by chance, not by circumstance, but by the unwavering hand of God. His presence surrounds you like a fortress, unshakable and impenetrable. Picture it, a radiant light encircling your spirit, forming walls of fire and peace. Every attack, every doubt, every unseen obstacle is met by this divine shield. What threatens to destabilize your path is halted at the edge of heaven's protection. Nothing can enter that is not permitted. You may feel vulnerable, even fragile, but that is only perception. In truth, you are held in the arms of infinite wisdom. Your steps are guided, your moments preserved, and your life secured. The shaking does not signify danger. It signifies alignment, a clearing of all that cannot move with you into your next season. Notice the signs of protection, the timely words of encouragement from a friend, the sudden clarity in a decision, the gentle sense of peace in the midst of chaos. These are not coincidences. They are whispers of assurance, confirming that God is actively orchestrating your journey. Even the unseen forces at work cannot overwhelm you. Every shadow attempting to intimidate, every fear trying to paralyze, every obstacle trying to discourage, they are under divine restriction. God has encircled you with guardians invisible to the natural eye, but powerful in the spiritual realm. You are not alone, even in moments when it feels as if the world has turned cold or distant. Heaven stands with you. Angels attend to your path. Spiritual forces guide your decisions. Your spirit is never abandoned, never forgotten, and never unprotected. Let this assurance settle in your soul. The shaking is temporary, the process is intentional, and the one orchestrating it will never allow harm to touch what he has ordained. The very tremors meant to unsettle are simultaneously creating a sanctuary of purpose, where every step forward is secure. Breathe in this truth: safety is not in the absence of shaking, but in the presence of God. Peace is not in the calm around you, but in the calm within you held by the Creator of all things. So walk boldly, even in uncertainty. Move forward, even in transition. Speak, act, and dream, knowing that the divine shield around you ensures that every step you take is guided, protected, and aligned with heaven's purpose. The Spirit whispers, "Fear not, for I am with you. Rest in my presence. I am your defense, your covering, and your assurance. What I have prepared cannot be touched by fear or limitation. You are safe in my hands." With this protection, you are free to embrace the shaking, to move confidently through the clearing, and to step into the fullness of the life that God is making ready for you. After the shaking, after the clearing, a new reality emerges, one that has been patiently crafted in the secret spaces of preparation. This is your season of transformation, the fulfillment of what was hidden, the realization of promises that were long awaited. The vessel that has been tested, refined, and emptied is now ready to overflow. The fears that once held you back have been replaced with courage. The doubts that clouded your vision have been replaced with clarity. Every loss, every challenge, every quiet moment of waiting has molded you into a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself. Imagine yourself standing on a high place, the horizon stretching wide before you. The space that once felt tight, confining, or limiting is now vast. The opportunities, blessings, and divine assignments that were previously out of reach are now aligned with your hands, your mind, and your spirit. The shaking was never destruction, it was preparation for expansion. Spiritually, you will feel a deep sense of alignment. Your spirit resonates with a new rhythm, attuned to the timing, the will, and the presence of God. Decisions that once caused uncertainty are now guided by discernment. Paths that once seemed blocked now flow naturally toward fulfillment. You will walk with a confidence that is rooted not in circumstance, but in divine certainty. Emotionally, there is freedom. The anxieties, burdens, and pressures that weighed on you have been lifted. What once seemed overwhelming now feels manageable, even small, in comparison to the fullness of life before you. You carry peace in your soul that cannot be shaken because it is anchored in what God has done and continues to do on your behalf. The transformation is also relational. Connections that were shallow fall away, and relationships aligned with your purpose deepen. People who are meant to walk alongside you step into your life at precisely the right time. The atmosphere around you resonates with harmony, favor, and alignment. You will see the fingerprints of heaven in every encounter, every opportunity, and every conversation. Materially, spiritually, emotionally, all aspects of your life begin to align with destiny. You will experience breakthroughs, doors opening, and blessings pouring in ways that exceed what you could have imagined. The shaking that once caused fear now becomes the backdrop for joy, abundance, and empowerment. And above all, your perspective shifts. You no longer measure life by what fell away, but by what remains, what has been preserved, strengthened, and prepared for your rise. Gratitude floods your soul for you now. See that every trial was purposeful, every delay intentional, every challenge sacred. You have been prepared for greatness, for influence, and for impact far beyond what you once believed possible. The Spirit whispers, "Look at how far you have come. You are no longer bound by the limitations of the past. The space I have made for you is now filled with life, favor, and destiny. Step fully into it, for this is your time to shine. This is your fulfillment, earned by faith, sustained by grace, and confirmed by heaven. This is the reward of perseverance, the beauty of divine timing, and the glory of walking in alignment with God's plan." The shaking was the seed. The clearing was the soil. And this transformation is the harvest. Rejoice, for you are now walking in the fullness of what heaven has prepared. A living testimony of faith, endurance, and divine orchestration. As you stand on the other side of the shaking, take a moment to breathe in the truth of your journey. The space has been made, the path cleared, and your vessel prepared. Now, anchor yourself with these affirmations, spoken boldly over your life. 1. I am aligned with God's purpose and ready for my breakthrough. Speak this over every area of your life where uncertainty has lingered. Let it remind you that your steps are guided and your destiny is secure. 2. I release what cannot move with me and embrace what heaven provides. Every burden, every distraction, every attachment that slows your progress is now lifted. Speak freedom over your spirit, your mind, and your heart. I am protected, guided, and empowered to walk in my calling. Let this affirmation reinforce the divine shield that surrounds you. Fear has no place in the space God has created for you. 4. I receive the fullness of what God is making room for in my life. Declare this boldly. Expect it. Know that heaven is not holding back the blessings, the alignment, and the favor are already flowing towards you. Carry these affirmations with you each day. Speak them over your mornings, your decisions, and your moments of uncertainty. They are keys to your faith, tools of empowerment, and reminders of the sacred design unfolding in your life. And now receive this prophetic blessing. May the God who shakes the heavens and the earth prepare your path. May He clear every obstacle, open every door, and fill every empty space with His presence. May your spirit be steady when the world trembles, your heart courageous when fear approaches, and your mind clear when confusion surrounds you. You are chosen, you are called, and you are ready for the life He has prepared. May favor, peace, and divine alignment follow you in every step. Amen. Rest in this blessing, knowing that the shaking has done its work and that transformation is complete in process, though continuous in growth. The seasons ahead are yours to walk in faith, gratitude, and empowerment. Remember, what was shaken was never meant to remain, and what remains is eternal. You are not only prepared, you are positioned. The space God has made for you is filled with purpose, destiny, and divine favor. Walk boldly, live faithfully, and receive the fullness of all that He has promised. Your journey continues, but now, with clarity, strength, and expectation. Let peace settle in your heart. Let hope rise in your soul. And let every step forward reflect the greatness of the one who is making room for your life.